Yeah. So around noon, I don't remember the exact time. I'm at lunch with Sanders and his family, a couple
It
other
was
people.
11:42.
11:42. He's got on the
We
dot.
were we
What
were
time was the
receiving
Luca
the
trade?
I don't
Okay.
that one I think was like 10:30
It was
or
pretty late at
11:30.
night. I
It
think it
it
was
was
late at
It
pretty
was
night.
late.
stupid late. I think it was
Um,
11:30,
I just
but it
didn't
was
know if you knew off the
11:42.
top of your head.
okay, at
No, this
11:42,
because we were receiving the benediction in church as it popped up. So
massive. Um,
yeah,
yeah. So at 11:42, Harris, Sanders' younger brother, goes. Um, KD just got traded to the Rockets, and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "KD just got traded to the Rockets."
I kind of thought it was like a Centel thing that he got.
Yeah, and so well, he's not a Twitter guy.
No, he's not.
So I pull up my phone. I'm like, immediately, what's the package? And they got Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, 5 seconds, and then the first round pick. That was my phone saying it's low battery, but we're
Oh.
chill. It's dropping slow.
Cool.
And then the 2025 10th overall pick. So the draft Wednesday's 10th overall pick. What?
Sorry, Lucy just distracted me with the chat. This is back to what we were just talking. I didn't mean. It just made me laugh. Okay, I'm sorry to put a pause.
No,
on
you're
that.
good. You're good.
You just keep going.
Yeah, yeah. And initial thoughts was like, that's it. For how good KD was and has been, that doesn't really seem like much. But when you think of context, the fact that it was very clear that KD wanted out, and the Suns have made it very clear they weren't keeping KD, that's going to drive down asking price. There's not much leverage there for the Suns. And then also the fact that as good as KD has been, he is 37.
Yeah.
So you really don't know how good he's going to, like how much longer KD is going to be great. Though I do think he is a good fit for the Rockets. So I think I like it for both sides. As much as it does feel like Phoenix really didn't get much, you get the 10th overall pick this year. The one piece I really wish they would have got back is the 2027 first that the Rockets have of theirs that's unprotected, which I understand why they didn't get that back because that's very valuable. But yeah, I wish they got that back. I'm happy for Rockets fans, though. I think this is a huge piece for them. It just is building on the excitement of this past year. KD gets another chance for a ring. He's out on his fifth team. Suns fans, I'm sorry that y'all went to the finals in 2021 and haven't got anywhere close to getting back, and this just puts y'all even further away from getting back. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the trade, JP?
so my first like initial one was like, okay, like the Rockets are making a move, and they're trying to make a win now move, and they're trying to keep up with the arms race. And like similar in the Desmond Bain case, like it was just like, okay, they're making a move to try and go at it right now. And like this is the only chance they got. But I don't feel that like it's the only chance they got. Like I feel like this is a move where like it helps them a ton this season, and then it could help them going forward as well
Sure.
because you get off the Jalen Green contract. That like if he fans out like they kind of feel like he might, then you've gotten off that contract, and now that's something you can give to Thompson. That's something you could potentially give to Reed Shepherd if he were to develop next
Sure.
season and going forward. And so it was like, wow, this like worked out really, really well for Houston. My biggest like next takeaway was, is this even enough? Like my first question immediately that I asked myself was, can with this Kevin Durant, a 38-year-old Kevin Durant next season and he's the number one option more than likely. Is that enough to even make the Western Conference semifinals next season? And I can't even guarantee that because, I mean, you go through the list of the Western Conference, the defending champion, the Thunder. You have the Timberwolves who have played excellent in the postseason. You'll have Luka and LeBron and hopefully some form of a big man. You're going to have this Houston Rockets team again. I would not suspect that the Warriors and Jimmy Butler and Curry are going to not be in the postseason next season. Wemby and the Spurs should make some kind of move. You would hope, Jack, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd expect
Yeah.
them to be much better next year.
Cooper Flag and Anthony Davis has the chance to be a potential playoff team.
James
the Denver
Harden,
Nuggets-
Kawhi.
James Harden, Kawhi, and the Clippers they're going to be in that conversation again. Jokic, NBA champion, they're going to be back in the postseason. That's 9 teams already. You think about potentially maybe the Grizzlies make some kind of move. And then, I mean, the Kings are terrible. The Jazz are going to be terrible. Sorry to them. The Blazers are going to be terrible.
I think the
But, like,
Blazers will be decent.
there's at least 8 teams where you can say, like, confidently, okay, that should be a playoff team.
Yeah.
And maybe the Suns are even a playoff team as well next season. They are going to make a few more moves, I suspect, because they have 5 shooting guards right now.
Yeah, they're not keeping Jalen Green.
Yeah, I saw that report. That's kind of crazy to me. I feel like I would have kind of kept him, but we can get into that in a second.
Sure. So,
yeah, I guess I asked the question to you, Jack, and even to you, Sanders, is like, can you say confidently right now that this is a team that can win the first playoff series? Because right now, like, having not seen them play, I just don't know if I can even say that, because like the only team, like, I mean, I think the Thunder can win a playoff series, and they're the defending champions. So the Western Conference is going to be insane next year. So I for one, I don't understand their move up Vegas and being the second odds favorite to win it next season. But yeah, I do they even make the second round?
I would say this: the Rockets were the 2 seed this year,
Mhm.
and they just got better, in my opinion.
yeah.
And that's kind of like just the very simple, like, they added a piece that is going to improve their roster. They lost in the first round, right? Second round?
No, first.
They
Sorry,
lost.
yeah, they
That's
lost
what I
the
thought.
first. My bad.
You good? They lost in the first to the Warriors.
Yeah.
Or the Timberwolves.
Warriors.
And so yeah, the West is definitely going to be deep, and that the 3 through 8 seeds was it 3 through 8? It was like 2 games of separation. Like there was that really tight grouping in the West.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to create separation there, and it was this season, and it will be next season. But I don't think I think that's thinking too much, too far down the road. I think you just have to think about the offseason, about getting better, without giving up too much of your future. And I think that the Rockets definitely did that. Especially, and I know that this is a different comparison, but the Grizzlies just traded, what was his face, to the
Desmond Bain.
Desmond Bain to the Magic, and they received multiple first-round picks,
4.
4 first-round picks, and the Suns just got 1. And I get that there's an age difference, but in my opinion, there's also a talent difference. I don't follow the NBA. I know the name Kevin Durant. I do not know the name Desmond Bain. That doesn't mean everything, but to me, I'm like, all right, well, I mean, Kevin Durant, he may not be as good as he once was, but he just had a really good season. He is still good. He was probably the best player on that Suns team. Desmond Bain was not the best player on that Grizzlies team. Thanks, JP. Appreciate that. Love to hear it. I would rather have KD than Desmond Bain on a win-now team at least. And I think that, and I'm also interested to see how this, we can talk about this if we want to, what this means on the market for potential Giannis trade.
Sure.
There's an age difference there. But if we want to address that, I have some thoughts there. Because now we've seen a young star traded or a young player traded. I don't know if he's a star or not. And then an older star or superstar, if you don't give him that label, traded for 2 very different packages. So I think the Rockets got better, and I do not think they gave up too much. I think they very much won this trade.
Yeah. To answer your question, JP, I can't guarantee them a semifinals appearance, a conference semifinals appearance. If you ask me right now, I do think it's a greater chance they make it than not. By what margin, I don't know. I don't think it's a great margin. I
Sure.
agree with Sanders. I mean, this trade makes the Rockets better. The real question is just how much better. And I really feel like a lot of people make sense. You're relying on another jump from Almond Thompson. You're relying on Reed Shepherd to become a key rotation piece and actually play minutes this year, stuff like that.
Which, can I say something? I think that these guys are both guards, right?
Yeah.
I think that Reed Shepherd didn't get a chance to play because he was stuck behind Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, and Fred Van Fleet.
Yeah.
And so now trading, I mean, this is kind of a win-win where you bring in KD to play in a position where you kind of needed help, and then you open up a spot for Reed Shepherd to kind of come out of the G League and get some more opportunity there. So that was just, sorry. Reed Shepherd made me think of that.
It definitely is interesting. I mean, he'll still have to play behind Fred because I don't see how you possibly put him and Fred VanVleet on the floor at the same time
Right.
for an extended run. because I think your defense would really suffer in that regard. Um, so yeah, but that's a good point. Even a guy like Cam Whitmore can maybe find more minutes now. It's just hard to tell, man. Because like you said, the West is so good. My brother-in-law's prediction is that they win 3 less games than they do next year after this trade. But he's also a chronic KD hater.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to know. But yeah, it's props to the Rockets for going and making a move to kind of, get better. But this isn't anything that makes me go, like, I don't view the Rockets as a legit championship contender now. I'll say that right now.
Yeah.
So I agree. I don't understand why their odds are now the second highest. So
I think I said at the beginning, they won the trade 100%
Yeah.
because they won it in the now, and I think they're going to win it in the future as well. And Kevin Durant on this team gives them a better chance in the postseason. I agree with your brother-in-law in the case that I think they're going to win less regular season games, which is because like they lose 2 key pieces. Like, I mean, Jalen Green scored 26 points per game.
Yeah.
Or not 26. I think it was 23 or 24 points per game. He was their leading scorer in the regular season, and they lose that. And then they lose 10 points a game in Dylan Brooks, and you add on 26 points per game in Kevin Durant. So, like, I mean, there's a drop-off there in terms of points per game. And while you expect it to come from Reed Shepherd and other pieces going forward, there's some potential fall-off there. I think it makes them a little weaker defensively,
Sure.
especially throughout a regular season. And I don't think you can expect Kevin Durant to play as many games as Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks did.
No.
Jalen Green did not miss a game in the regular season. So that's a key piece you're missing. My problem is because of that, like with how good the Western Conference is and with how tightly packed it was this season as well, is that going to be a problem for them? Like, are they going to be in a spot where they're in the play-in? And if they're in the play-in, are they going to have to play another elite Thunder team or elite Lakers team
Sure.
without home court advantage in the first round? And this is Kevin Durant's first time with this team, and you still kind of have these young guys you're going to have to rely on. And are they going to be able to push through that? Like, it almost feels like their best matchup would be themselves in a way. Like, if they could have played this year's Rockets team in the first round, that would be an ideal first round matchup. But with how good the Western Conference is, like, go down the list, like the team with the least playoff experience is like the Grizzlies. Like, it would be the Spurs if they were to make it.
Yeah.
But it would be basically the Grizzlies. Like,
I mean,
these are
Giannis is going to
all
bring
of
some
these
playoff
teams that
experience.
yeah, I mean, yeah, Giannis, if he goes there, it's an NBA champion, and that's something the Thunder or the Rockets have as well with Fred VanVleet and Kevin Durant. But that's where I'm worried for them, because if they don't have the regular season go as well, and they are in that play-in kind of spot, are they good enough to go out there as the first time being this edition of the Houston Rockets and win a playoff series on the road? And are they able to do that multiple times? Because that's what it's going to take.
Sure.
Like, that's what it took for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that's what it is going to take for the Houston Rockets if they're in that spot next season. And that's where it kind of gets me a little scary. But I do want to say, like, if they get to the postseason, I think they're really, really good, because they're good. If Reed Shepherd develops the way that we think he is going to, and the way that, if he's the Reed Shepherd we saw going up, toe to toe with
The great Josh
greatest
Hubbard.
Mississippi basketball player of all time in Josh Hubbard, like, then I think the Rockets are in a great spot, because they can have a lineup where they go with Fred VanVleet, Reed Shepherd, Kevin Durant, Thompson, Şengün. They're good defensively, but they are just that could be elite offensively. I mean, think of the 2-man game with Şengün and Kevin Durant and Thompson with both of those guards. Like, that would be electric. And then you look at a potential, like, defensive lineup where they go with, Tari Eason and Thompson and Kevin Durant and Steven Adams and Şengün. Like, my goodness, that is some mountains of men and excellent defenders as well. And the way you saw not Kevin Durant, the way you saw the Thunder lock in defensively, like that's a dangerous lineup. I think this trade gives them a key piece in NBA Finals MVP, playoff experience, has always showed up in the postseason, has really never had a bad postseason.
Yeah.
Which is something they lacked a ton this postseason. But I think with the ability to now be able to play Reed Shepherd, they're going to be able to create some really fantastic lineups. And so I agree. It makes them better. I'm just curious, are they going to be in a bad spot where they're in the play-in and they have to go out there and win on the road as the first, version of this team?
Yeah, I agree with that. I want to say two quick things, and then we can move on to the Suns side. You hit it on the head that KD makes them way more versatile and gives them a lot more options. Because we talked about it when they were playing the Warriors, after a couple games. It was kind of like they don't really have any other buttons to push, right? Like they have to go out and play their style and hope they win with that way. They didn't have any flexibility, is the word I was looking for. And now I don't remember what the second point I was going to make was. Oh, yeah, now I do. I also do like this move in the sense of this wasn't their all-in move because of what they had to give up to get him, right? They still have tons of assets. So if this doesn't necessarily work out like they hoped, it's not like they're sunk, right? They can pivot pretty easily elsewhere, and they have multiple other ways to still make their team better. So I think that's pretty key to look at kind of context-wise too.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's have a season with KD where he's good but it doesn't work out, and then you flip him, and I don't know, maybe if you can.
I think KD's a free agent after this season.
Is he? Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I was gonna say I don't know that. Well, then
It's got one season.
okay.
But then you just move on from
Yeah,
him.
exactly. You just move on from him, and you've got money to pay your young guys like Shepard, and you still have your first round picks because you only had to give up one. So you've got your 26 and your 27. Well, I guess you don't have your 27.
You have the Suns 27.
You're the Suns 27.
I think they may have their own 27 too.
You thought Phoenix. You wanted Phoenix.
I wanted Phoenix to get their
Yes.
own back.
Yes, I see
because the Rockets have theirs.
Yeah.
Via like Brooklyn. I don't.
So you want to talk? So I don't know that much about the Suns. You want to lead it off on what this means for the Suns? I mean,
Yeah,
Go for it.
it kind of signifies the end of an era where they went to the finals in 2021. Obviously, D-Book's still around, but they brought KD in to kind of be the missing piece, take him to the next level, and clearly that didn't work out. I don't think they made it out of the second round after they made the finals. So just like really didn't get close.
They had the second round against Luka.
Yeah.
And then Chris Paul hits a huge three to cut it to 42.
That's right. That's right.
But that was as deep as they ever got.
Yeah. They just kind of ran into the position of money issues. Then they trade for Bradley Beal because the KD stuff isn't clearly enough. And Bradley Beal's not good anymore, but you gave him a ton of money and you also gave him a full no trade clause. So he's just chilling there making money and he has no desire to leave.
yeah.
And
Or
now
play. Has he been playing?
he plays some, but he also is injured a lot and he's just not nearly as effective. I think he's making $50-something million to be a guy that, does deserve NBA minutes, but not the star that he was in Washington, not even close.
Right.
And throughout it all, it's also been poor roster construction. They've struggled to find a good big man. They trade away Ayton, being like DeAndre Ayton's the problem. Clearly wasn't really the problem, or wasn't the only problem. I don't actually think Ayton was that good. But now JB basically said it. Their 5 best players are shooting guards. So they're going to have to look to do some major shifting. I'm interested to see what they do in terms of trying to convince Devin Booker to stay around. But they have a lot of questions to be answered and a lot of decisions to make. And so I'm kind of interested to see where they go with it. What do you think they do, JP?
I would keep Jalen Green, unless you're trying to say that, we're going to go out there and try and win now.
Yeah.
But then you even get to the point where, are the Suns going to make the 7-8 play-in game? Are they even that good?
I don't think so, personally.
I sure don't think so. Even with whatever they could get for Jalen Green. So I would keep Jalen Green personally. I would keep Jalen, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Bradley because you have to,
Yeah,
and then I would maybe look to move Dylan Brooks and Grayson Allen because those are two pieces, especially with the way their contracts are kind of shaped, that you could move for some younger talent, or you get a big man of some kind if you wanted to compete for whatever reason, or you just take an expiring contract and get a first round pick
yeah,
or 2 seconds or something. Like you trade that into capital, in my opinion, because those are two role players. Like Grayson Allen could contribute to a team, you know, really well because of his 3-point shooting, and Dylan Brooks could do the same with his
agreed.
defense. So those are two pieces I think you move. I would not move Jalen Green. That doesn't make any sense to me. He's locked in to a decent contract, and the way he played in the regular season, like he's been kind of viewed like he should be on the same kind of trajectory as a Cade Cunningham, even an SGA to a level. And I think you give him the ropes. You let him play with one of the most prolific scorers we've ever seen in NBA history in Devin Booker. And maybe he can develop that kind of confidence that D-Book has
Yeah,
to potentially shine bright in a postseason one day. But I don't see the incentive in trading him because what I saw in the regular season, leading scorer for the second seed in the Western Conference is not nothing. And yeah, he sucked in the postseason, but maybe that is who he is, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just it was his first postseason, his first playoff appearance. He had a good game where he scored 35 plus points, and so maybe he just had a bad series and kind of lost his confidence. And he was facing a team in the Warriors that had great defensive matchups for him. And, Buddy Hield defended him well throughout the series, but you had Jimmy Butler, you had Gary Payton. Draymond is
yeah,
amazing at getting under the skin of young guys like that. Like he gets under Şengün's skin throughout that series. So I would keep him. I don't see why trading Jalen Green helps you because I don't know who you get for him, but whoever you're getting for him, I can't even guarantee you're a 7 or an 8 seed and make that play-in game,
sure.
much less even potentially in the 9-10 play-in game. Because who knows? The Spurs could be good next year.
We better be.
The Blazers could be good next year. We expect the Mavericks to be no worse than they are with Cooper Flag. And then if you just keep the 8 teams above them in the postseason as well, like they're still sitting there at the 10 seed at best. So I don't see the moving of Jalen Green. Jalen Green is a future piece for me, and he's someone I think you try and develop.
Yeah, it's weird because it seems like the philosophy is, oh, we move Jalen Green to stay competitive, but I'm not sure you find a piece better than Jalen Green in terms of helping you stay competitive. And also, I don't think you can stay competitive regardless. So even though you don't have your picks and stuff, you might as well try and buy into the younger player you just got. But it doesn't look like they're going to do that. So, classic Suns.